What are we doing tonight, Z? The same thing we do every Friday night, and that is try to party with the world. That is right. It is Our Reviews Will Kill You, the Party Time podcast that brings you news, reviews, and all that good stuff. I am the man you may know as Z, and I am joined all by my lonesome. I am here, and I am noob-noob-less, as he is gone, and maybe it'll be forever. You'll never see him again. He is gone. He's moved on to Italy, or maybe other places. You may have seen some of his shorts where he is complaining about how terrible Italy is, which is kind of disturbing. I would think that's a pretty nice place to be, but you know. Anyway, what's chump change? I see that Doc and Weiser are out there. How you fellas doing? I mean, as far as co-hosts go, you guys are the best. The only co-hosts I need are the chat, and that'll make my life easier, as I don't have to deal with a sexually dimorphic doofus that is Noob Noob. Well, I don't even know what time it is over in Italy. We'll see if he even bothers to show up. But we do have a lot going on the show today, as per usual. It's gonna be a goodie. Hopefully I won't sweat to death here. But let's take a look at what's on today's show. Let's see if I can find it for us. That's right, we're going to talk a little bit about Shogun, the show that every critic loves, but no one knows what to talk about. Not many people saw it. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We're gonna go leaping over leapfrogs, because shocker, Quantum Leap has been canceled. Steve Buscemi punched in the face. Not in the nards, but in the face. Hideo Kojima, who you may or may not know from such things as the walking simulator that is known as Death Stranding, has some opinions on a new movie. Agatha Harkness, the show that can't seem to figure out what it wants to be, is still changing its name again, unless I got trolled. I don't know. There's a portal, well, there was a portal linking New York City and Dublin, and it got closed for being outrageous. Nick Cage, your favorite star and American treasure, is going to star in a new Spiderman movie. What? Victoria's Secret, after a hiatus, may be coming back, but we don't know what it's going to look like when it comes back. Will it be Chunky Monkey, or, you know, was Victoria eating all the bun-buns while she was gone, or is she looking thin and sexy? We'll see about that. We also got approved for more Three Body Problem on Netflix. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel a kind of way about Three Body Problem. We're gonna get outrageous with there's a Dino fail. In fact, I think I read the article and it said it was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not funny. And then we're going to talk about them killer whales. They're out there and they're earning their name because they're out there killing. They're killing it financially. They're trying to corner the market on yachts. I think they're just trying to tell us that they want us to ride them. But we'll get into that story. Then we're going to get in and out on Rings of Power Season 2. Do you want some more Rings of Power with strong whammons? And what about strong whammons? You get some Dune prophecy. I'm going to prophesize a lot of strong whammons in that. Oh, and Noob Noob wanted me to remove the segment that was Noob Noob's most disappointing moment in his life. And I will remove that. We won't talk about that because maybe it's happening right now. Who knows? But then we're going to review some things. Ark, the animated series. If you know anything about me, you know I love Ark. You know the Money Team loves Ark. Well, guess what? They made an animated series out of our stories. Doc is the star. I also watched The Iron Claw, the wrestling movie with Zac Efron about the Von Buren, Eric Von Buren and the Von Buren brothers. And then X-Men 97 came to a close, and I will give you my opinion on it. as it is no longer. No more X-Men's. I better play what? The Ark? The Ark? I'm not saying I won't play Ark. I'm saying that you were the star of the Ark, the animated series. They had a character specifically modeled after you. So I believe that's the entire show, but that sends us on to, oh, you want me to keep the most disappointing moment in Noob Noob's life. That's what you want. Oh, okay. Maybe I can put up a poll. Well, most people would probably just say it was the day he was born was his most disappointing moment. But that being said, we'll see. But let's move on to some housekeepings. Oh no, doggy fuera. I had like not the busiest week in the world, but I was a little busy. There were things and stuff going on. The day he was conceived was his most disappointing moment. Getting to birth was actually a miracle for him. So I talk about Godzilla threequel. They're going to give Godzilla a trilogy. Godzilla X Kong, that is. So I don't know where they're going to go with it, but it seems like it could be a good time. People either really hate that movie or they enjoy it. I just chalk it up to being kind of like it's a dopey monster movie. Like I don't know what people expected out of it. I honestly heard people say that they need to do better. I was like, okay, you want to do better with a Godzilla movie about Godzilla and Kong teaming up to fight another giant monkey? I mean, although their primary criticism was of the human aspect of it, not of the actual Godzilla-ness and Kong-ness. It was mostly that the human story was unintelligible. But there was barely a human story in it anyway, so who cares? Like, I don't care about the human story. I care more about Kong and his tooth. He's got a sore tooth. Nothing but the tooth. Then I feel like I get it. I kind of preempted the show here. But I couldn't help but talk about Ark, the animated series. It is peak woke. It's so crazy how it is. I'll get into it a little bit in my review, but I go into some detail because it's like, what did I even watch? How did this get greenlit? Why is Vin Diesel attached to it? Why are there so many famous actors in it? It's crazy because it's such a good game. And they conceived this plot that I think is related to the game. You tell me, Doc. Was there a plot to Ark? I'm confused. So I did that. Then I made commentary on the one wig to rule them all, which we will get back into. And we will go back to Laura Bradley's article. And we're going to take a look at this show. Amazon got hoodwinked. They got snossaged. People clearly tricked them, and it's not the same thing. Like I don't know what is going on here because they're making new Lord of the Ring movies. They're making a Gollum movie. Like what? Who asked for any of this stuff? Just bastardizing Tolkien stuff. It's terrible. And then I do, okay, like I said, this stuff came out. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself. I had to talk about X-Men 97, specifically about the showrunner, and talk a little bit about how he did and compare it to The Witcher. So check that one out, too. I think I did a pretty good job of breaking it all down and giving you guys some idea of how X-Men 97 came together and what it means. And I thought it was pretty good. They did pretty good. Not too shabby there for like an animated series. I know we're talking about all these adult cartoons. Hey girl, how you doing? I have the perfect rom-com for you called The Iron Eagle. We'll talk about it later. And I think that's it. I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. And rom-com is it's interesting. If I don't think I can call it that, but there is a nice little romance in that movie. So we will get into it. But before we get into it, I think we gotta go through some News! I've got the news for you. The news you've wanted to hear. You've been waiting all week for it. That's right. Shogun star Hiroyuki Sanada inks a deal to return for season 2. I don't see how there is a season 2. What a weird show. And I'm going to try to watch the 1980s version of this, and I'll give you my kind of assessment on it. Oh, no, my screen's all messed up. Why am I so big? Because I had no idea there was an 80s version of this show. So crazy. Like because the lead dude, the lead white dude has like this 1980s perm. It's crazy. I don't even understand what's going on. But the FX limited series Shogun is going to have a season 2 about Lord Toranaga-sama. And I don't really get it. And they're not going to have a book for it, if I understand correctly. So where are they going to get the rest of this? It doesn't seem like it's going to work out. I thought it was okay, but not amazing. Like, I don't know. It was like a solid 8. I know we reviewed it before. Like, it's pretty good, but the pilot sells, like the first episode sells a real hard story of like, it's a little intense. And then after that first episode, there is no longer any nudity, not as much violence, and definitely not as much torture. So, and the love story is a little shaky. So, not sure. Oh, it's their most expensive series to date. I don't know that it did good enough to warrant another chapter of this. And I don't know that I want to consider keep watching it. Hey girl, you would not like Shogun. It was the first episode. I think even Bill Burr said that it was too much for him. He watched the first episode and was like, "Yo, I can't watch this anymore. This is too much." He said it was too intense. He didn't want to see any of that. I feel like there hasn't been that much nudity in like stuff in general. Maybe it's more in TV now than it is movies, because movies barely have any nudity. And I could agree with you about I don't need that much graphic violence. Like, I know where to get my graphic violence if I need it. So I could see where you're coming from for sure. That is definitely okay. You know, one show that doesn't have any nudity and it also doesn't have any viewership, that would be Quantum Leap. They swapped everybody in Quantum Leap and nobody cared. Yeah, canceled after 2 seasons, and I think they should have canceled it after 1. NBC has decided not to proceed with a 3rd season of its Quantum Leap show. You go to a vegan restaurant called Quantum Leap? Hey, hopefully they stay open. I'm just talking about the show. You have to tell me what's the best dish on the menu. You can even tell them. Maybe they'll give you a free dinner that we shouted out their restaurant. Quantum Leap, vegan restaurant. Go check it out. They probably have some well-meaning dishes. Hopefully something with mushrooms. I like mushrooms. They're good. Sesame noodles. That sounds pretty awesome. I will 100% eat sesame noodles. So, Quantum Leap, the show, not the restaurant, has been canceled. The original series aired on NBC from 1989 to 1993 with Scott Bakula playing Dr. Sam Beckett. And yeah, they leap around time stuff and things. It starred Ernie Hudson. I love Ernie Hudson. I think he's great. Mason Alexander Park, Nanrissa Lee. So got wrapped up. Sorry, folks. If you were a big fan, it got canceled. It's real hard to be on network television these days. Real hard. So it's a real shame. Let's see what else. This is sadder names or a sadder story. Hopefully you've heard of this actor, Steve Buscemi, the famous Hollywood actor from such hit films as Fargo and Boardwalk Empire, which I think is a TV show. Yes, 66-year-old Boardwalk Empire star was taken to a nearby hospital with bruising after he got punched in the face. What is going on in New York? Like, seriously, people, stop punching people in the face. It's not nice. Because there was another celebrity who got hit, and he got hit really bad. The guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and from Ghostbusters. And Rick Moranis, that's who got hit. He got hurt really bad. That was really, really not nice. And this is also not nice. Some jacked up man. He was hit by some jacked up guy looking like he was going to the gym, just waiting to punch people. He chased his attacker. Wow. What? He's got some stones. Look at Buschemi, 66, chasing his attacker who was arrested and charged. Yeah, it's a thing. Punching people in the face in New York. What's the other thing they like to do? Push people in front of trains. That's not good either. I heard Times Square had a random stabbing. We're going to talk a little bit more about Times Square. I like Steve Buscemi. I think he's a great actor. I agree with you, hey girl. He's also the I like him in the Adam Sandler movies. It's one of my secret things. Yes, Times Square did have a bunch of migrants attack police. There's crazy stuff going on there. There's even more crazy stuff. We will get to it, I promise. I don't want to jump ahead to my other New York story. Maybe I should have organized both of my New York stories together, but what I'm going to talk about next is one of my favorite people, I guess, Hideo Kojima. He's responsible for Metal Gear Solid and the entire Metal Gear franchise. He's also responsible for Death Stranding. He's this real weird director, and he likes to turn his games into some kind of movies. He also did that cult hit, which nobody actually got to play, PT. It's like the Silent Hill thing that was going to happen that never actually happened. But he saw Furiosa. He said that George Miller is his god. And the saga he tells is my Bible. He's a big Mad Max fan. Super fan of Mad Max, which I think you could say a little bit of that influence. And he was just saying, he released pictures of himself from the theater. His eyes were misty from the experience. And what did I say? I think IGN gave Furiosa a 10. I don't even know when it comes out. I think it comes out next week. Maybe it's this week. But he said it's this movie, which easily surpasses Mad and even past Fury, is at its masterpiece. Ever since I saw the first film when I was 16 years old, George Miller has saved me, encouraged me, and changed my way of life countless times. He is my God, and the saga that he tells is my Bible. I mean, that's a lot of praise. I think he should dial it back a little bit. You don't enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy. She's weird. I don't know what her deal is. I liked her in The Menu. I don't know that I'm going to like her in Furiosa. Maybe what you might like, you won't like it because it's going to have violence in it, hey girl. So I'm probably going to say I don't recommend it for you specifically. But she only has 20 lines of dialogue, so you ain't going to have to hear her talk a lot. So that's a positive, right? I also don't think... Oh, you like the Mad Max with Charlize Theron. Okay, that's cool. So maybe you do like violence. I don't know. I'm confused. I like the guitar player guy. He was really cool. I like Fury Road. I think I prefer the other Mad Maxes. That's a tough question. I think they all have their own place. You kind of can't, I don't know that any one is any better than the other, because even the ones that people don't like Thunderdome, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, has its place in history. There's just something wacky and wild about it. I love the original Man. I think all of them are just cool. There's just something you couldn't. They're just these real crazy movies. Yes, Mel Gibson, he's a handsome man. he's a wild one too. He's the original guy who got canceled, right? He was a handsome man. Yes, he's no longer handsome. That's fair enough. He was in that first movie, for sure. Did you know George Miller, the director, also directed Babe the Pig? This dude's, and he did Happy Feet. And then he also does Mad Max. Like, what a wild career this guy has. He's just insane. I don't even understand how he does that. Yeah, what a talent, right? How do you do that? Although the only thing I heard, he's 90, get out of town. Is he really 90? What a madman. He's the original Mad Max, George Miller. He's Mad George. If he's 90, he could be. He very well could be 90. Holy cow. And I think he wants to do another movie. I think he just wants to like die on set. He's 79. Hey, more power to him. I feel like there's who's Dirty Harry? Whatever that guy, he was directing into his 90s. So I feel like it's possible if you want to. If you want to. So Hideo Kojima says it's good. I don't like Chris Hemsworth's outfit. Like, I don't like his costume. I don't like it. Who Don Siegel? Who's the guy who plays? Who's Mad Max? I totally cannot. I'm spacing. Oh, Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood directed into his 90s, if I remember correctly. So it's humanly possible. And then this news, I just covered this because I feel like I've covered it 18 other times. But Agatha gets new potential title for MCU Plus show. And I don't know if this is real or not. I thought it was going to be called Darkhold Diaries. But now they're calling it Agatha, the Lying Witch with Great Wardrobe. Like, what is going on with this show? Are they just trying to troll us at this point? Or are they so, like, this show sucks so bad that we don't know what to do with it? Maybe we'll just cancel it. It was originally going to come out in 2021, and we're now in 2024. It was going to be Agatha, House of Harkness, then Agatha, Coven of Chaos, and then it was named Agatha Darkhold Diaries. This is all, like, what is going on at Marvel? These guys are insane. This is a spin-off to WandaVision, if you don't remember, and it's Kathryn Hahn reprising her role as Agatha Harkness. It's going to star Audrey Plaza, which I think some people might be into. So I'm willing to watch it, but I'm willing to say it's not going to be good. You don't have time to watch these. I don't blame you for that, because most of what I watch is hate watching specifically for the show. So I don't know. I'm not excited for it. That's for sure. They say it might even be a musical for all I know, which I don't know that anyone has time for that either. So how about we portal out of this particular story and portal right into the New York Dublin portal. This is straight from the Associated Press. Sidewalk video portal linking New York and Dublin by live stream temporarily paused after lewd antics. Who thought this was a good idea? Like, who? So you could watch the stabbings occur in New York City? So you could watch poor Steve Buscemi get punched in the face? Why would you do? There's literally a guy with a box cutter slashing people, slash some poor little kid in Times Square. Why would anyone agree to this? Not to mention, you probably have to hire like a security guard to sit there and make sure that nobody messes with the stupid portal. The other thing I heard, and I don't blame the people of Dublin for this, especially considering I live in Dublin. Well, yes, and then I fly here to the U.S. and break into this house and do the podcast. But the portal, the people from Dublin, when they first turned it on, were showing all the Americans images of 9/11 to the New Yorkers. Like, okay, it's a little rude. It was supposed to embrace the beauty of global interconnectedness. Apparently, the guy who made this is some kind of billionaire who is now an artiste. So it was a circular screen set up below New York City's iconic Flatiron building, and a companion screen on Dublin, Ireland's main thoroughfare, O'Connell Street. And the portals are an invitation to meet people above borders and differences, to experience our world as it really is, united and one. He's a Benediktas Gailis, the Lithuanian artist who conceived the installation. It's fascinating. Oh, here you go. Here's why people. It doesn't. I don't think it serves anything. I don't know who it serves. Nobody. But some of the bad behavior were OnlyFans models in New York baring their breasts to Dubliners, holding up swastikas and displaying images of New York Twin Towers burning on 9/11. Wow. The screens, which only broadcast video and no audio, were back up on Tuesday morning, only to be powered down. Why? So silly. If you want to know more, you can go to the portals.org team. Breasts are out of fashion. What happened? There was a Free the Nipple campaign that kind of disappeared. And now the only breasts that people are into is ones that get bolted onto dudes. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh my gosh. On the Dublin side, a man stood behind a crowd of school children in uniform and extended 2 middle fingers. Butts and legs are the new boobs. Yes, probably. Although you don't hear that much about J-Lo anymore. I don't know what anybody's into. I feel like everybody out there is just kind of celibate at this point. Then they were trying to get people in Dublin to do TikTok dances. Do you think J-Lo and Ben are divorcing? I think it's a strong possibility. Is it all over? Is it real, though? Because she was out wearing her wedding ring. I was paying attention. Someone said they saw her still wearing her wedding ring. So who knows? If there's no hope for Ben and Jennifer, is there any hope for the rest of us? I don't know. The bigger news that I didn't cover, hey girl, is Diddy beating his poor ex-girlfriend. What a mostly, imagine Diddy only in a towel running down a hallway to beat his ex-girlfriend. What a maniac. Holy cow. How he's not in jail for that, I have no idea. Not only does he beat her, he could have done worse. But he beats her up, and then he throws her to the ground, kicks her, and then he takes her bags and leaves. And then he comes back and starts throwing vases at her. It's the most insane video. Absolutely bananas. But those antics are crazy. Are they as crazy as Nicolas Cage? Yes, Diddy belongs in jail. End of story. Oh, yeah, it happened in 2016. Thanks, Doc. Still, why isn't he in jail? I don't care if that happened in 2016. Did she not press charges? Is that why you had video of this? Stop living in the past. Oh, yeah. Well, Nicolas Cage, American Treasure, is going to star in the Spiderman Noir live action series at MGM Plus Amazon Prime Video. Sure. Cage is going to star in it. And I saw, who was it, Pop Culture Crisis? They were trying to talk about this, and they were saying something along the lines of like, you know, is Nicolas Cage up for this? And I'm like, did you see the character? Nicolas Cage just has to voice it. He doesn't ever have to be in the costume. Like, it's irrelevant. They just have him in the costume, and they'll be fine. Not a big deal. Or like he doesn't even have to wear the costume. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But Nicolas Cage is a cool guy. I like him. He's always fun. He's a great actor too. The interesting thing that makes me think this will be kind of good is that Nick Cage is in it because he works very hard because he does not have a lot of money because he wasted a ton of it. I went to go visit his mausoleum in New Orleans that he paid for, that he's not dead yet, but waiting to be put into. He's going to be interned in a giant pyramid mausoleum in New Orleans. But Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are working on it with the incredible team from Sony. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, if you don't know Lord and Miller, they were the ones who were fired from Solo, the Han Solo movie, where they filmed the entire movie and then were replaced by Ron Howard. They went on to make Into the Spider-Verse and make like almost $2 billion for Sony. So good job, His gold digger wife, yes. One of his, does he have like 10 gold digger wives? It's basically every other wife. He's like, here's more money. But Lord and Miller, yeah, it seems like kind of a foolish move by Kathleen Kennedy to fire these two guys when they went on. I think they even won like Oscars and stuff. So, but he is the voice for Spider-Man Noir in Spider-Verse. Yes, the Academy Award-winning film Spider-Man Into the Universe. It'll be the first time the character's ever been portrayed in live action. So I think it's cool. I like it. Here's the story. Will be an aging and down on his luck private investigator, Cage, in the 1930s New York, who is forced to grapple with his past life as city's one and only superhero. Sounds like fun. I would like to check this out. So good on Cage. I'm looking forward to it. And then talk about, well, I don't know if this counts as nudity, but we're talking about boobs, butts, and legs. What do you think Victoria's Secret fashion show is going to bring back? They're bringing it back, but are they going to bring back what we want to see, or are they going to bring back what we don't want to see? I recently saw, I didn't see the covers, but Sports Illustrated has been putting some real weird people on their covers recently. People that should not be in bathing suits or bikinis. And just not interested in Martha Stewart in a bikini. Not interested in Gayle King in a bikini. No, thank you. Who are they going to put in Victoria's Secret fashion show? I don't know. Because they're saying, this sounds terrible, reflect who we are today. What does that mean? I don't think anyone wants... No one wants to see what we're thinking of. We want to see attractive people selling us attractive looking clothing. End of story. Do I want a man in a bikini? I do not. I think that might be what we're getting though. After a 5-year hiatus, didn't they like their stock took a huge tumble because they got totally woke and they were making stuff for like all sizes and shapes. And when you do that, you can't sell the product fast enough to turn it over. You're just going to sit on inventory. It doesn't work. Oh my gosh. Models to the runway this fall. Oh my gosh. That's right. Now, yeah, there is a connection to Epstein. Oh man. Why? They should have waited longer. Don't come back. What? Yes, Doc. That's what Doc wants. But are we going to get... Oh, no. One ex-user shared that they were looking to a wider range of sizes and a more diverse slew of models. No, we are not looking for that. No one is watching Rihanna's Savage X Fenty. That is all money laundering. That is not real business. No one is buying that. Yeah, that's from the Victoria 2015 show. I'm okay with that. I am not okay. No, this is not going to be good. No. Nope. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. And in the final, talk about bodies. Let's talk about 3 bodies. We've had the 3-body problem renewed. I very much enjoyed 3-body problem. Wasn't the best show I've ever seen, but I did enjoy it. It's an adaptation of Chinese asshole novel called of the same name, 3-Body Problem. The showrunners, David Benioff and Dan Weiss, who you may know from such things as ruining Game of Thrones, have clearly shown they have a knack for adapting existing materials. If you can get them a good novel to adapt, they can do it. And that seems to be the truth. But once they run out of material, no good things. I definitely think it's worth watching. I enjoyed it. It is very science fiction-y, but the pacing's a little slow at first, but I promise it picks up. They also have like one of the most horrifically scintillating scenes I've seen in television in a long time, and I thought it was very, very good. Does have to do with a yacht, which makes me think that we're missing insult investor in his yacht. But I think it's a good deal. I'm into it. The only thing I heard is this is like one of the most expensive shows that they have. The showrunners were hoping to get 4 seasons to adapt all 3 books. I don't know if they're going to get that though. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I do like the science fiction aspect of it. I really did enjoy. I mean, they kind of like dumb it down at some point. It cost them $200 million. Like I heard it was $20 million an episode, and I guess there's 10 episodes. So yeah, that's pretty expensive. I don't know, but I would like to see at least where it goes because I know how it ends, but I'm still interested. And the audience score and the critic score were pretty close. So, yeah, the production value in this is like it's just amazing. It looks like a movie. Absolutely. There's no drop off whatsoever. The acting is pretty darn good. Some of the characters are a little unlikable, but kind of doesn't matter what happens to them. I recommend it. Definitely recommend it. So check that out. Look out for more news. I will review it as I can. I actually tried to film Noob reacting to the horrific scene that happened, but I thought we would get copyright struck, so I didn't do it, which is probably smart because we're still trying to get out of our own copyright strike. And that's an outrage. This is an outrage. Let's get an outrage. I don't know where he's at specifically, but he has another one of his videos he's going to release. And Julia Roberts is going to make a special appearance in his video. So you stay tuned to see him in the video. What did we get a strike for? We did a 10-second short on Dune. And because we used part of the Dune trailer... and even though I did voiceover over it and I added animation to it, they had a third party strike us. So yeah, no worries, Mr. M. Good to see you. And yes, it's a little unfortunate. We've tried fighting it and we're just waiting to get out of jail. It's really kind of crushed us recently. But yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, you're right. There are bots, but the company, it's not even Warner Brothers that came after us. It's some like dumb third party, which is weird. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a bot that nailed us. And unfortunately, our all-powerful YouTube gods did nothing. When we told them it was fair use, they were confused by the fact that we completely transformed part of whatever they were talking about. So, yeah, that's a thing. It's an outrage, but it's not as much of an outrage as this Tyrannosaurus wreck. There was a high turnout for all these dinos, but it didn't do what they wanted it to do. A Canadian city's attempt to break the Guinness Book of World Records for largest gathering of people dressed as dinosaurs was disqualified due to the unexpectedly high turnout. There were too many dinosaurs, so they couldn't get the world record. How does that make any sense? How is that? The town of Drumheller, Alberta, said that on April 27... An April 27 record attempt of the city's downtown attracted more than 3,000 people in dino dress. I love these little dinosaur guys, but I almost can't look at them in the same way because I may have seen some adult material with one of the dinos, and it disturbed me forever. He recorded over 3,000 people through numbered bracelets and wristbands, which far exceeded what they originally thought. It was close to double the amount of people. Who knew there was a Guinness Book of World Record for people dressed as dinosaurs to begin with, let alone breaking the record? That's insane. They said an accurate count could not be obtained due to officials being unprepared for such a massive turnout, We weren't entirely prepared for that many people to come. Guinness said that there were 3 people that they had witnessed leaving the area that after they had been wristbanded, so they weren't following what the volunteers had told them to stay in place. They all had to be together in the area for 1 solid minute. The attempt was disqualified despite very handily beating, and you won't believe this, folks, a record of 252 people, which was set in Los Angeles in 2019. I feel like I could break this record. I don't know 252 people. Maybe I know 253. I think Doc knows 254 people. So maybe we could get this to work. Maybe we'll have an Orc Fest, and the 20 of us that turn out will invite all of our friends and relatives, and then maybe we'll get 254 people. That could be exciting. But then some of us would be dressed as orcs and not dinosaurs, which would totally ruin the entire thing. Very sad. Very sad. I feel like they should give it another try, because I would like to see that many dinosaur people. Like, what the heck? Why wouldn't they just give it to them? Just give it to them. There's clearly photographic evidence that there's more than 252 people here. Mr. Evans is impressed that there's 3,000 people who had dinosaur costumes readily available or willing to buy one. I mean, I'm willing to buy one right now. I mean, I can't afford one, but I would be willing to buy one right now. Heck, I'd do a whole show in a dinosaur costume if I could. Can I break the Guinness Book of World Record for longest podcast wearing a dinosaur costume? I'm down. Let's go, Guinness. I'm calling you out. I will wear a dinosaur costume just for you. And I'll do an entire podcast. You can't stop me. I did an entire podcast in a Scooby-Doo costume. Doesn't that count for something? Well, you know what else is outrageous? These killer whales. They are just, I don't know what's going on here, but they're smart and they're out for blood. Have you ever seen a movie called Orca from the 70s? It's basically a Jaws ripoff. It might have been the early 80s. I don't know exactly when it came out, but it's starting to remind me of this. Killer whales attack and sink another yacht in the Strait of Gibraltar. A sailing yacht was sunk in the Strait of Gibraltar on Sunday after an unknown number of orcas slammed into the vessel. 2 people on board had caused a water leak. Both crew members were rescued by a passing oil tanker. Can you believe that? This marks the latest killer whale attack on a boat. The weird part is they don't kill any people. They just sink the boats. Oh, you assume that Noob Noob actually paid for that vacation. Sugar Mama paid for the vacation. I don't think Noob Noob paid for it. I think orcas are amazing. They're super interesting. I think they're probably just as smart as humans, and it's been proven like they can teach each other different hunting techniques. And I don't think there's a recorded kill of a single human ever being killed by a killer whale. Yeah, I believe all of that they're amazing creatures. I hope no one puts a hit out on the killer whales. I'm glad to hear that no one's talking about like these killer whales are a real pain. We need to get rid of them. They eat killer whales can also eat great whites. In fact, they eat them for their livers and then spit out everything else. They just eat the liver. Mr. M only watched one documentary on an orca. It was called Free Willy. And the only reason why you watched that is because you love Michael Jackson so much. I'm pretty sure that was a Michael Jackson song. Maybe I'm wrong, because I've never actually watched Free Willy. I have seen the whale jump over the kid. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So, yeah, this is wild, though. For those of you who don't know where the Straits of Gibraltar are, that's like the part where, what is it, Spain or Portugal not connects, but there's like a piece in between. It's like where the Mediterranean Sea starts and where Africa and I guess it's Spain kind of connect right there, right? That's where that is. I think I know my geography. The Bay of Biscay. 26 interactions. I bet you it's the same orcas too. Some sailors have resorted, I think we reported this, blasting thrash metal music into the water in order to deter them. Like, get away or we're going to play thrash metal at you. Maybe they like thrash metal. Have you ever thought of that? Maybe. Oh, you are right, hey girl. That is a good point. I meant wild attacks on humans. Of course they kill people in captivity because they're insane. Because they're, you know, what, 30-ton creatures or 20 tons or whatever they weigh? Yeah, they're sad. I watched Blackfish. That's a really good documentary. And I would kill people if you put me in captivity like that. If you put me in a pool, if I had to live in a pool, and I'm not even as big as a killer whale, if you stuck me in a pool as small as they put in those killer whales, I am killing my trainers too. Absolutely. I forget what the Canadian SeaWorld was called. It's a shank or be shanked in the tank. I am shanking everybody who comes into my tank. If you stick me in one of those tanks and feed me fish, I am shanking you in a heartbeat. Don't even try it. I don't care if it's a pretty blonde girl who's feeding me fish. She getting shanked. I don't care. You're not keeping me in that tank. I am not performing tricks for you. It's amazing they even perform tricks for people. It's amazing that Telecom only killed, like, what, 3 people? Come on. Bro should have been killing people left and right. He should have been tossing body parts all over the place. I don't blame him at all. Poor Telecom. Poor Telecom. Anyway, yeah, you should catch that. I forgot to kill people in captivity. You know what else kills people in captivity? Polar bears. There's a lot of stories of people being like, I want to go swim with the polar bears in the zoo. And then you become lunch. Those poor little cute little orca babies. Do you know what they call orcas in Canada? I wonder if anybody knows. I should put that in a... That should be like a contest. I don't have anything to give away. Maybe I'll give away some sesame noodles that Hey Girl sends me. I'm going to split them in half. And I will split them. They don't... Orcas, eh? What's an orca in Canada? It's an orca, eh? No, they call them Canucks. At least I'm pretty sure that's true. I feel like Canucks is like another term for orcas. Yes. Orcas, eh? I like the orcas. How about we get out of orcas killing people and eating people, and let's talk. Let's get in and out. We're going to get in and out on Rings of Power. And the only thing I want to talk about, because I did a whole video on this, and I don't want to belabor the point. What is wrong with this man's face and his head? This is going to be Sauron. And if you remember Sauron from Lord of the Rings, because I would think most people have seen Lord of the Rings, he is a burning eyeball in the sky. You never see him as a person of any kind. Well, here he's pretending to be an elf, but it's like he has a face, and then he has a forehead, but then he has a second forehead on top of his forehead where his wig is. And that doesn't make... Yes, the Vancouver Canucks hockey team does have it's not just a whale logo, but yes, that is Sauron. And the crazy part is this is the same actor from the first season. So I don't know what's going on. He doesn't have a forehead. He's a 5-head. It was in the trailer. Everybody's like, that's Sauron. It's the same actor. I don't know what's going on. Not to mention, and I just want to point this out, I watched Rings of Power. Only 33% of people who started watching Rings of Power finished it, and I am one of those people. In Rings of Power, they get tricked by Sauron. Galadriel is like, gets fooled by him, and she's like all seduced by him because he's sexy. So he's just going to put a wig on, a 5-head, like a giant extra wig. And you're going to fall for it again? He's going to trick you a second time? Trick you into making more rings? What is wrong with you people? Galadriel is just dumbest elf on Middle Earth. I was going to say Earth, but Middle Earth. Yes, that's Sauron. I would say I'm out on this, but I have to watch it because I have to report out to you people how good it is, or bad, mostly bad. I know my rants are popular, so I'm sure I'm going to be ranting my brains out as I watched J.R.R. Tolkien roll in his grave. Is he plugged again? I don't know. Do you think Legolas is? Like, I don't know what they're doing with this. It's the most ridiculous costume I've ever seen. Glasses do work for Superman, and if Noom comes back in a wig, we might not recognize him. Oh, yeah, that's a whole thing. So I'm out, but I'm going to watch it anyway. In fact, this article, which is called The One Wig to Rule Them All, I'm supposed to believe that this is the guy who forced a magical ring that subjugated all of Middle-earth. This guy? Yeah, I don't believe it either. Yes. And then there's Dune Prophecy. Now, to be perfectly honest with everybody, I've been following this story not super closely, but closely enough. This show's been rewritten like 3 or 4 times, and it was originally pitched directly after Dune came out, and nobody knew whether or not Dune was going to be a hit. Dune was kind of a wild card. It was also released, during the pandemic. So people weren't sure what to make of it. But as soon as Dune 2 hit, and it did very, very well, they were like, all right, let's greenlight this thing that we've already started filming. Dune Prophecy is about the Bene Gesserit and the foundation of the Bene Gesserit, which is what Paul's mom is part of, that like cult of women who are breeding people to take over the world. This is like 1,000, I think it's somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 years before Dune takes place. So you won't recognize any characters. And yeah, this is 5 years ago. HBO Max, or now Max, ordered a Dune prequel series. And there's no book for this. So I'm confused as to why they even did it. So there's no source material. There are so many. Not only are there 6 Dune books in the original Frank Herbert like legacy, and I almost did a video about this because it kind of irks me. His son and Kevin Anderson wrote like another 20 books about Dune. I don't know why anybody would really want to watch this. Other than you want to see some strong whammons. This is 10,000 years before the ascension of Paul Atreides. I don't know. I like the sci-fi stuff, and HBO has they have a real great track record when there's no source book material. And that's what I was even saying about Benioff and Weiss. When, they did 3 Body Problem, and they stuck, from what I understand, pretty close to the book. Or at least they consolidated the book, or like 1 or 2 books. And it turned out really good. But when you go off of the book, just like Benioff and Weiss did in seasons like 6, 7, and 8 of Game of Thrones, you get trash. They're claiming this was inspired by, and I hate the word inspired by, Sisterhood of Dune, written by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. And it follows 2 Harkonnen sisters as they combat forces that threaten the future of humanity and establish the fabled sect that will become known as the Bene Gesserit. I don't know. Emily Watson's in it. I do like Mark Strong. He's in it. So, I don't know. I guess I'm a giant Dune fan and a giant Frank Herbert fan, so I guess I'll watch it. I don't know. It's the Master M writing the jokes. I'm gonna have you write jokes for me. Does this sisterhood include a traveling pair of pants? It's that's really funny. I like that. That's a solid joke. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants of Dune. Would they be Spanx? Or are they Lulumons? Which type of pants are they going to be? Because they're definitely not denim. I don't think denim holds up in sand. I think you'd have to go with something different. So I don't know. I guess I'm in on it, but it's a tentative in. It's not a solid in. I'm just kind of in, like a little in. But I think that moves us on. I think we can finally get to the review. Ghost reviews. Yeah. By the way, I think I do a really bad job of this. I don't know if anyone knew this who actually watches to this show. We have a second channel. It's called Orcu Clips. We would love it if you subscribe to it. Essentially, what we do is take some of the best clips and best reviews from the main channel and put them over there so, you know, we can help grow the channel. Our last review of Unfrosted actually got like 1,500 views on a channel that has like 19 subscribers. So if you guys don't mind, please go to Orcu Clips and subscribe. I totally forgot. Post the link. Hey Doc, can you find the link for Orcu Clips? I don't know what it's. I don't know. I'm not internet savvy, even though I am literally on a podcast with you guys. I have no idea, but I appreciate it. Anybody who does. I can't believe we never talk about it. Hey, we focus on bringing you. We're focused on having fun here. It's not a focus on. We are not here. We're here to entertain. We're not here to promote. I don't have any products necessarily to sell you, except for Orc Juice, which we will make someday. Our energy drink, which will be better than what does Logan Paul have? What's their energy drink? Ours will be better. Whatever theirs is, ours will be better, and it won't give you, diabetes. So good promoter, you orc you do. I love it. You can't copyright. Maybe you can copyright Mountain Dew, but you can't copyright Dew. Like Dew is just out on the grass. Orc you do. I'm gonna do the Dew. That's good. I like it. Yes. So, what should I do first? I feel like I want to save my favorite one for last. So let's do Ark, the animated series. Oh, I almost had it. Ark. So Ark is a video game. It's an open sandbox game. 1 sub per video. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. M. Thank you, hey girl. Doc probably forgot to subscribe. He's supposed to send the link on how to get there. Anyway, Ark, the animated series. This, it's an audience score of 52%, and no critics bothered to review it except for us and me. I want to read to you the people who star in this. You will be shocked when you see who stars in this, and then I tell you what happens in this. So Ark is a video game where you're a person who essentially washes up on the beach, and it's a sandbox. You have to collect wood and collect stone. It's like Minecraft with better graphics, and you ride dinosaurs. Let's just say that. So there's some sort of lore that you're supposed to pay attention to because there's some advanced technology or aliens or something. You don't know what it. I mean, I know what the story is, but I'm not gonna give it away. But essentially, I don't know what Stardew Valley is. I'll have to look that up. I mean, I would say it's an open sandbox. You build huts, and then you climb up through the Stone Age, and you can eventually make guns. Yeah, farming game. It's like a farming video game. And there's 3,000 NPCs dressed as dinosaurs, so your nephew plays it. I would say it's probably I've never played Minecraft, but I would say it's probably close to Minecraft, where you build things and you need to harvest resources, but you could use dinosaurs. You can breed them, you can ride them, you can fly them, whatever you want. Here's the stars of this show. You have to hear this. Michelle Yeoh, Gerard Butler, who else? Elliot Page, David Tennant, Alan Tudyk, Carl Urban, and Jeffrey Wright, and Russell Crowe, and Vin Diesel. That's 5 A-list stars right there. You have a former Doctor Who. You have an Oscar winner, I think, in Russell Crowe. You have Jeffrey Wright, Oscar nominated. Yeah, it's a stacked cast. And if you watch my 10-second review, because I show clips of it, literally the main character, she is she's an Australian, but she's also Aboriginal, and she joins in the BLM protests as a small child in Australia because her mom is an activist. She's also a professor who's a lesbian and married to a lesbian woman, right? Who Elliot Page plays a woman. What is going on here? Elliot Page plays her lesbian girlfriend. Not even girlfriend, her lesbian wife. I am so confused. Right? And then on top of all this, there is absolutely horrific violence. People literally being eaten and torn apart by dinosaurs, being shot with arrows through the face. Who is this for? I do not know a human being that would really, truly enjoy this. It makes no sense. I don't understand what I am watching. There's entire segments about them like... the main character washes up on an island full of dinosaurs, and you have flashbacks to when she was in BLM protests and in her lesbian marriage that have no bearing on... I mean, they kind of have a bearing on the story because she has this weird saying of like, where you are is where you are, or whatever. I don't know. This was beyond mind-boggling to me. I could not understand what was going on. It's Paramount Plus, and it's insane. It blew my mind. It was like the wokest thing I've ever seen. It was like woke incarnate with dinosaurs and insane amounts of violence. There was so much violence. It was almost disturbing to me. And then on top of that, it's all shot. It's an animated show, right? It's a cartoon, folks. No children could be allowed to watch this at all. It is not acceptable for children, right? And everything's shot with everything has like this soft filter on it. So when I was filming it on my TV, it like occurred to me, I was like, this all looks really blurry. So, you know how like when women want to look more attractive, they put like a soft filter on them on like TV and things like that. So like, you know, the camera isn't as harsh because the camera is harsher than real life looks. So they put like this weird soft lens on it. The entire show is filmed with a soft lens. I don't understand. None of it makes sense. It's insane. I'm clearly off my Adderall. I don't understand. I'm not batting 1,000, but this show is bananas. I want my harsh. Yeah, but it's a cartoon. So having a filter on a cartoon to make it look softer doesn't make any sense to me. I get it when it's on TV and it's like, you know, it's like General Hospital and you're filming one of the actresses and she wants to look a little bit younger, or you don't want the harsh lights, you know, because everything's lit so harshly. It's a cartoon. How is this possible? It makes no sense. So I cannot recommend this unless you want to watch like the craziest woke thing you've ever seen in your entire life, which makes me want to transition to X-Men 97, which is a stark contrast. Okay, so let me set the table for X-Men 97. The showrunner, his name is Bo DeMeo. Bo DeMeo was specifically hired because he is a gay black man. And he was interviewed and said, Kevin Feige hired me to bring my perspective to X-Men because I am a gay black man. And I said, okay, that's interesting. But then Bo DeMeo came out, not out of the closet, but he came out and said, I was on the set of The Witcher, and there were people who were working on The Witcher who actively hated The Witcher and hated the video game and thought it was toxic masculinity. And I will not hire anyone who hates the thing we're working on. If I'm doing X-Men 97, I want you to respect the source material and at least be a fan of it, because this doesn't make any sense if we're not fans and don't really respect the source material. So X-Men 97 is a continuation of X-Men the animated series. It literally takes place like a minute after X-Men the animated series, which I watched some of as a small child, but I don't really remember that much of it. But Beau DeMayo was very respectful, and people were very concerned because there's a character that was specifically made for the show called Morph, and Morph can morph into anything. And Morph is, yes, they destroyed your boyfriend Henry Cavill's show, which is just unfortunate. I don't understand. Hey Girl's boyfriend is, or girl, yeah, her boyfriend, not her girlfriend, is Henry Cavill. And yeah, they destroyed his show. And Beau DeMayo worked on it. And he was like, I don't want any parts of that. I want X-Men to be genuine. And people were really nervous because there's a character whose name is Morph, and he can turn into any X-Men he wants to, and he gets some of their powers, I guess. And he's in love with Wolverine, but Wolverine is not in love with him. And there's a moment in the end of the show, and this isn't a spoiler, where Morph turns into Jean Grey because Wolverine's injured and says, I love you, Wolverine. Like, if you're going to survive, he basically says, like, I want you to recover, and I want you to recover for her, if not for me. And he turns into Jean Grey and says, I love you to Wolverine. It's like a totally respectful moment. I felt it was a poignant moment. I was totally okay with it. What's up, Insult Investor? Good to see you. Exactly. That seems kind of sweet. He did it perfectly. It was perfectly fine. It's unrequited love. There's nothing totally wild about it. I was perfectly okay with it. The man was very respectful of the X-Men. And the show was good. I mean, I don't love it because I think we're being hidden a little bit because we still have that strike we're trying to get over, Insult Investor. So thank you for showing up. We do appreciate it. You know, at least I do. I think Noob doesn't, but I appreciate it. A dude turned into a woman and kissed. No, he did not kiss a man. He did not kiss a man. He just said that he said that he loved him. But it was because he was trying to bring him out of a coma. That's just a thing. You know, he was trying to bring him out of a coma because they needed his help. And he was trying to do it any way possible. So he turned into a woman and said, I love you. I think it's fair. It's fine. The way they did it was fine. He had good intentions. Exactly. And the show, because Wolverine's in love with Jean Grey. What, do you think he's going to come out of a coma for a dude? Wolverine ain't coming out of a coma for a dude. Sorry, bro. He's only coming out for a woman. Because he's all man. Wolverine's a man's man. So, my point is, it's funny too, because Wolverine loves Jean Grey, but she's unrequited as well. Because she won't reciprocate because she's in love with Scott. Who is Cyclops. It's an interesting kind of dynamic. Critics have it at 99%. Audience has it at 94%. I think if you're a fan of X-Men, you're going to like this. And a lot of people were complaining. I'm complaining too, because they're churning through like 20 years worth of material. I think what they're trying to do is get fans familiar with the source material. So when they do live action, you'll have some sort of familiarity with it, because you had familiarity with Captain America. You had familiarity with Iron Man. What can they do to make it familiar to us so that when they reboot it, and I'm not saying they're going to do a good job of it, I think that's what they're trying to do. The idea that Wolverine would need to be coaxed out of a coma when he could be out of it in his own way is bad. Okay, so this is a spoiler for the show. I just want to point this out, right? Magneto rips Wolverine's adamantium skeleton out of his body, and that's why he's in a coma, right? That's all I'm saying, is that Wolverine was in bad shape. He was trying to heal up, and Morph was trying to encourage him to heal up, and he's like, if I'm Jean Grey, maybe he'll recover. That's what he was trying to do. I think it's fairly innocent. I don't think she has a PV. I don't know what's going on. I'm just telling you the plot, okay? It was fine. It worked out. And like I said, I liked it. I thought it ran through too much plot in too short of a time, but I don't know. And X-Men is very much like General Hospital, like it's a thing. It's there's a lot of drama going on, but I liked it. It was fine. And I don't know if I would give it like an A, but if you're a big X-Men fan, you're going to like it. He wasn't a lady boy. I don't know what Morph is. Morph has only been created for the show, so I have no idea. But it was fine. It's okay. We'll all survive, I promise. You're accusing me of going woke, aren't you? I believe that's what you're saying. So let's go to the premiere review. I recommend X-Men. If you are okay with animated stuff and you like X-Men at all, you'll like it. The Iron Claw, which came out in 2023, but just started streaming last week on Max. I think Max has it. This is rated R, and it's 89% on the critic side, 94% on the audience side, with 1,000+ reviews. The true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Through tragedy and triumph, under the shadow of their domineering father and coach, the brothers seek a larger-than-life immortality on the biggest stage of sports. That would be Frog Boy from the Teen Titans. We're not talking about the Teen Titans. That's DC, and he wasn't in it. You're talking about Beast Boy, Frog Boy. Beast Boy could be any type of animal. Morph can be any person or anything. At one point, he turns into the Hulk. He turns into Angel, I think. He turns into everything. Are you Bobby Lee? Insult Investor is Bobby Lee. Maybe he's Bert Kreischer. I don't know. It's hard to say. But the Iron Claw, let's read the critic consensus. Powerfully acted and profoundly sad, the Iron Claw honors its fact-based story with dramatization whose compassionate exploration of family ties is just as hard-hitting as its action in the wrestling ring. The Iron Claw is a powerfully emotional movie with some outstanding acting in support of a very sad real-life story. This is the movie that stars Zac Efron, right? Jeremy Allen White. Is he the guy from The Bear? Is that who he is? I'm not sure. Have I seen him in something? He is. He's the star of The Bear. Very good in this. And Zac Efron, shockingly, very good in this. Excellent. This might be my movie of the year. Maura Tierney is in it. You may know her from ER. And Holt McCannally is in it. Holt is from... what is Holt from? Holt is from... you've seen him in a million different things. What you see? He's mostly known from Three Kings. He was in Sully. He was also in that TV series on Netflix that was really good, Mindhunter. He was very good at Mindhunter. This guy's a great character actor. He's absolutely awesome in this. Absolutely awesome. And who else was in this? Lily James was in this. She plays a love interest. So, okay, let me read this here, Insult Investor. In Texas, we used to say if we had tits and a V, we'd never... Oh, I thought you were talking about... the Von Erichs. Yes. So the Von Erich brothers were kind of out around the same time as like Ric Flair, right before Hulk Hogan was starting. I had someone who lived in Texas who told me that the Von Erichs were as popular as anybody ever was in wrestling. I know they were inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. As a very little kid, I remember the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan stuff, but this was really interesting. And the only thing I'll say is Zac Efron needs to lay off of the Mexican supplements. He did so many steroids to do this. He's out of control how big he is. It's ridiculous. Although I will say all the physicality, he really went in on this role 100% into it. I don't really care about wrestling at all, but the story, this particular story, the wrestling is kind of a side piece to it. It is so depressing, but it's definitely in the running for movie of the year for me. So I cannot recommend this enough. Jeremy Allen White is really good, but Zac Efron steals the show. I don't want to give away the plot, but the true story of the Von Erich family is about as depressing as the story of Saving Private Ryan. Let's just put it that way. It's real depressing. There's a nice little love story that kind of connects that you might enjoy, but holy cow, be prepared to be depressed. The director, I am very impressed with the director in this. Sean Durkin, you will see more good things from Sean Durkin. I promise you. You're going to see a lot more good things from this guy. He's going to bring, and this is an A24 movie, of course, but A24 has got to be my studio of choice. They really bring some really good stuff here. Wrestling, there's violence, but like sad violence. Ultimate Warrior got his start in tag team with Sting. Did not know that. China also has a very depressing story. I can't believe that China was with... Did you know that Triple H's original character was Hunter Hearst Helmsley? He was like some sort of like fancy rich boy. And if you look at his body before he went and got on the Mexican supplements, it's night and day. The dude was like a big, tall, handsome guy. And then he got on the Mexican supplements and oh my God, did he get big. And China had a PP bigger than most men. So just going to say, holy cow. What was the reality show with China and Vern Troyer? I don't know. That's a good question. I think was it like I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here? Maybe? Oh my God. How sad is that? China and Vern Troyer are both dead. That makes me sad. And it's as sad as this movie, I'm telling you. It is, even if you're not into wrestling, I promise you will get something out of it. It's captivating, well-directed, and it makes me think that Zac Efron is actually a good actor. I would have told you I was a little on the fence as to whether or not Zac Efron was a good actor. This really, really good. It's outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Imagine I can't imagine that it's on investor. I cannot imagine. You get some point, you gotta because you need them gains. I gotta get them gains, bro. Look at them gains. Every day I got more gains. Who cares what's in the pants when I got the gains? So yeah. I feel like there's a bunch of wrestling fans on this show, but maybe there aren't. Doc and Weiser and Ron Cole, they're all the wrestling fans. And I finally watched a wrestling movie, and they have no commentary for it. I would love strong arms and back like these dudes. It's so funny, though. Clearly, Zac Efron is like 3 times bigger than anybody else on screen. Like the dude from the Bears, like, yeah, he gets like a little big, but nothing compared to everybody else. I will say, though, Maura Tierney, who was from ER and also from News Radio, she is a great actress, but does not look good in this. She looks like a duck. I can't explain her other than she's a religious duck. She's got like the whole duck face with duck lips. I don't know if it's plastic surgery or too many cigarettes, but holy cow, something disturbing about looking at her. And I was like, I don't want to look at her anymore. And I didn't know it was Lily James. I had no idea. And I think she's a British actress. I thought she was pretty good. Oh, News Radio is classic. Oh my gosh, I love News Radio. What a great show. What a great show. She's a great actress. I really thought she was good in this. Phil Hartman, one of the greatest American comedians of comedic actors. God, I love that man. So funny. So funny. Mr. M, that's a good question. It's because he has children, and he can't be trusted, because what if his children take over as mods and then ban everybody? I don't think we can have that, friends. I don't think we can have that. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just saying, what if Mr. M Jr. gets on the thing and starts banning people left and right? What are we all gonna do? I don't know. I think it's a little scary. I don't think we should put that kind of power in the hands of a child. I honestly miss Phil Hartman because I'm not a fan of The Simpsons now, but I am. I was a fan of The Simpsons back in the past. Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz, some of the greatest characters of all time that Phil Hartman played. Troy McClure, you may know. In fact, half my jokes, if you guys didn't notice this, one of my jokes is you may know him from such films as whatever. I am literally lifting that joke from Phil Hartman, where when he plays Troy McClure and he's like, I'm Troy McClure. You may know me from such films as, Three Booties into Bombay and Saving Private Jimbo. Like, I'm literally trying to pay tribute to Phil Hartman because he was that good. So good on News Radio. And it's a shame that John Lovitz came in to take over for him, because I feel like John Lovitz was played a little dirty. Who? Phil Hartman? I think Phil Hartman was so funny. He died. His ex-wife shot him while he was asleep. He had like an estranged wife, and mental illness, man. It's hell of a drug. Took him out. Yeah. I love Phil Hartman. So great. You just putting. I like John Lovitz. I don't think he's as funny as Phil Hartman, but he had giant shoes to fill. Yeah, I don't think he woke. It would be kind of funny to wake up shot like, oh my God, you just shot me. What the hell are you doing? Why'd you do that? But no, I don't think he ever woke up. So Phil Hartman in heaven. That's what we have now. He's a tacky man. I love him in The Wedding Singer. He's hilarious in that. He has such a weird sense of humor. Yeah, Joe Rogan made his hey. I remember there's a spoof of aliens in that. And Andy Dick was in that show as well. And I forget the redhead, but the redhead, she was super funny. She's like the woman who made it okay for that other chick who's real annoying, who cut off Trump's head, Kathy Griffin. The redhead from News Radio made it okay for Kathy Griffin to exist, so I don't think she's that good. Kathy Griffin was not in News Radio. No, there was another redhead who was much better than her, much funnier. And Andy Dick is terrible. I mean, his life is terrible. And yes, they're tied to Joy Behar. No, I don't think so. Titanic spoof is a great episode. Do you guys want me to look up News Radio so I can see who starred in it? Because I don't know who starred in it. We're going a little off topic, but News Radio is worth the juice. News Radio had so many people who went on to do other great things. Okay, let's see here. We had the stars. There's not going to tell me who starred in it, are they? They're just going to say here. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. Vicki Lewis. That's the redhead. She's great. Dave Foley is fantastic. Stephen Root, one of the greatest voice actors and character actors out there. I love Stephen Root. He's so amazing. This ship is held together by my blood, sweat, and 3,000 miles of my homemade duct tape. Stephen Root is so great. There's so many comedians who had guest stars in that too. Such a good show. And it was a shock that it kept going. It didn't really only get to 3 seasons. That is sad. I'd be very sad. Andy Dick. I can't believe Andy Dick was able to hold it together for long enough to even do the show, because he is insane. But yeah, if you've never heard of, how is news radio at a 79% audience score? That's nuts. What? What a good show. Anyway, I guess that wraps it up. We had our little reminiscent. I feel like everybody has to catch this in syndication. You can't actually catch it, or like on DVD or something. I have no idea where you could watch this show. Oh, it's 5 seasons. 5 seasons. Very good. So if you get a chance, folks, check out News Radio. You're not going to regret it. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time. Does it hold up? I think Phil Hartman is universal. Thank you, Hey Girl. I appreciate it. I would love, one day I will try, like I said, go to your restaurant. They're called, it's not Deep Impact. What's the name? What's the name of that restaurant? Go to the vegan restaurant and be like, oh my God, I was on a YouTube channel and they promoted your restaurant. You don't have to tell us what town it is, but people can look it up. What was the name of your vegan restaurant? Thank you for subbing too. I appreciate that. Every little teeny bit helps. And your bit is not teeny. I'm not meaning to undermine you. But what was the sesame noodles? Where is the vegan restaurant sesame? Oh, Quantum Leap. That's right. That's a crazy name for a restaurant, but everybody should go to Quantum Leap and get the sesame noodles based on Hey Girl's recommendation. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I have no idea if I'm doing this again next week by myself. I try to get guest hosts, but I totally forget, right? I forgot whether or not I was supposed. I'm too busy to ask people to guest host. And, Sensibly Cynical had his chance, and I totally forgot to ask him. And then Infinity, I've been trying to play video games with Infinity for like 3 weeks now, and he is asleep apparently. But thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. I love all you guys. Thank you so much. I had a blast. Go have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one, because I'm on to the next one.